everybody!
Hi!
Well, we're here tonight. We weren't here on Sunday like we promised, but there were reasons that do not need to be discussed at this juncture. Hello! Other person! Hi! But we're here tonight. We're going to discuss our 3 sci-fi shows, which are Dark Matter, Wynonna Earp, and I'm super excited about Wynonna Earp, but I want to hold on to it for last.
Okay. So, should we just go in order of viewing then? Start with Killjoys and...
Yeah, we can start with the confusing episode of Killjoys.
I think most of the confusion was because it was still 2 separate stories.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of being like one story that had the whole episode, it was 2 separate stories that had half the episode to do the whole thing.
Yeah, but it was like, I don't know if it was just me and I was still sleepy when I started watching it this morning, but I just had, I struggled to follow it.
Yeah. It's getting kind of complicated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess the face stealers were not planned, but it was stealing the Holland goo.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Also, ew.
Yeah, ew. And then they're like, we're going to torture poor Johnny. And I'm like, no, leave my Johnny alone.
But he kept like saying stuff that was making me cackle. Like,
I know.
He was strapped down to that thing, and there's like wires going into his head, and he's like, "Thank you, handsome idiot."
I did giggle.
Thank you, handsome.
I did look up and like giggle at that. And I'm like, yes.
But he's home. By the end of the episode, he goes home.
Yep, he goes home. He's back with Dutch and Davin. That's his brother's name, right? Davin?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's back with them.
And I guess
he still has his tiny mod.
Yeah, his tiny mod. But I guess the chick that showed up at the beginning of the season was actually his friend. But they gave her a skin job and apparently wiped her memory.
Yeah, like, I mean, they get points for running with the recasting, but it was still weird.
Yeah, I wonder why the actress changed. That's actually really interesting to me.
I was actually looking forward to them finding Clara and then having to deal with who gets the arm. Right?
That would have been fun, but no, they went with the reason for actor change for no reason.
I guess.
Yeah.
But she's still cool, so there's that.
Yeah, she's still cool. She's still a good character, so I don't mind her too much.
And I like how, like, a hack mod spinoff now, because I want to know, I don't even know those other people's names, but they were so cool. I feel like amputees need some superheroes to look up to.
Yeah, I would actually honestly love to see more of that. Like, to see more of that city. It would be very cool.
But, like, they're sort of setting it up that they're having their own solution while Dutch and co are picking this other war. So maybe the two will converge.
Yeah. So it's very possible we will see them again.
Which would be great. They're still not keeping their strays. Like, Lucy's got space.
Well,
they can bring them home.
Yeah, I now know why the actress changed. She apparently is in 2 different TV shows this year.
Oh, wow. She was too busy, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, she's playing a character on American Gothic and another character on the show Snatch.
Neither of those shows are as fun as this one.
No, I know. Lame. Come on, I want to see season 3. Thank you. Oh. What's her name now with the change of character?
Ollie. I wonder what they're gonna do with her though, because she knows that she used to be Clara, but she still feels like Ollie because she doesn't remember being Clara.
Right, exactly. So it's going to be interesting nonetheless.
And I wonder if stealing someone else's skin is permanent.
Right? Like they were able to kind of cut that guy's face off, but if he hadn't been dead, would he have, just been himself again or what?
Yeah, like if the other actress comes back in like next season, say.
Yeah.
Would they be able to unskin her?
Right? It'll be interesting to say the least. And what happens to the real Ollie? Where is the real Ollie? Is she dead?
It looks like the people get dead when they have their skin taken, but they were spraying the bodies down with stuff, so
something.
keeping them moist or something. Like who even knows?
I don't know.
Like this is only the second episode. That whole storyline seemed like
really
it needed at least more stories. 2 more episodes.
Right. 2 more episodes.
But then it would be middle of the season and they would have spent half the season separate.
Right. And then I kind of hope we get to go back to the city, the Hackmod city, because I want to see more of those characters. They were so interesting.
They were so interesting. I want to know what their stories are and their names and various other things related to them. They were so neat. It was like living in a tattoo parlor, only way
more, way more advanced.
I sort of like the idea that eventually cyborg bits would be about the same as tattooing or piercing, though, where you could do it to yourself or have your friends do it.
Right? Same.
That's cool.
What else? And then in the background, we have Dutch and Davin trying to get a new nerd to take Johnny's place, which ends up being a complete waste of time because Johnny comes back at the end of the episode.
Right? Which you could have just told them. But...
Yeah, but we get to play the Spot Eric Knudsen game.
I love him. But now he's another one. He's another one who came through 12 Monkeys first.
Yeah, I know, right? He's been in 12 Monkeys. He was in Jericho, and before that, he was in what was that show?
He was in
the other time travel show.
He was in Continuum.
Yeah, Continuum.
He was a major character playing very complex parts on Continuum, and it makes me sad that he's only on all my other shows since then because he's so good.
Exactly. It's like, he needs more roles.
He needs to be kept. Well, they did officially recruit all the nerds, so maybe they'll come back.
Yeah, I know. That made me laugh. It was all 3 of them.
Even though Turin didn't want the girl, but whatever.
Yeah.
Dutch knows what's what.
Actually, it's funny. He's also in The Mist, the TV series that just started. I gotta play catch up with that.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of that yet.
Yeah.
All this working, eating up my TV time.
Right.
Maybe he gets to be complex and interesting on there for more than one episode.
We can only hope, right?
We can only hope. But I like the nerds. The one guy who looked like he looks like one of the people that was on SNL.
Yeah.
And then Eric
But
Knudsen.
I don't know which one.
And then the girl who was just like, well, the science says, and then does crazy shit.
I know, and then she's like, I knew it was a simulation. She's like, I knew it was a simulation. I knew I wasn't gonna die.
I knew they wouldn't die either, so I completed the mission.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, but you still failed because you didn't follow rules. And then Dutch goes and recruits her anyways.
And Dutch is like, well, it's not really the rules that matter, it's the biology, and you understand the biology.
We want on our team ready. Ah. I'm here. It's being very draggy for some reason tonight.
Oh no.
It froze for like a second, but then it came. I like moved the mouse and it came back.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I don't want to.
But yeah, I feel like this was the bridge episode between whatever last season's story was and whatever this season's is going to be.
Right.
Because they introduced a couple new characters. It set up some stuff. It closed some stuff.
I see why we're bogging. Let me see if I can get it to stop. It's trying to run updates.
No.
No, I don't want to run updates. Stop. But,
my old computer, I had it set so it wouldn't install updates till like 4 a.m. But now I don't know. I don't know how to do it on this one.
So I don't leave this thing on, so that never happens.
I don't ever turn any of my computers off. The old ones are only.
This one freezes so often; it's kind of It won't let me cancel the downloading, so we might keep freezing because it's like 5% complete. Runs even slower.
Dumb.
Okay. Anyways, anything else we want to talk about Killjoys?
What about oh shit, what's her name? The bad guy in her bathtub full of goo.
Goo, Dutch's twin.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
I don't know, but she recruited the awesome skin job doctor.
Yeah.
So,
like, what's going on? Where are they? That ship looks like a giant bug.
Postpone. There we go. It wanted to restart. And I'm like, no, postpone. I know, the ship was all gross and like a giant slug thing. It was weird.
It's so like white inside and so much like a bug outside.
I know. It's like, and then of course the green slime, which you always imagine the inside of bugs having.
They did in fact find it inside of a bug that first time.
They did. That is true. Last season. In the cave system, and Davin could control it, which was interesting that they haven't even touched on that yet this season.
Yeah. They haven't really touched on any of that. Like, he can people.
Right? So
although they never did quite go as far as saying he had to have sex with all their enemies.
Yeah. That would be
if all else fails.
And then it's like my brain just goes to that weird off place because, Fancy was one of them and Davin was the only way to get the goo out.
I bet you anything somewhere there is fanfic.
Right? I'm sure there is.
If there is not, then this fandom has failed me greatly. I don't even want to read it. I just need to know that it's there. Because that's the role of fanfic.
Anyone out there who's ever seen Davin Fancy fanfiction, just let us know. We don't want a link or anything. We just want to know if it exists. So we cannot be saddened by our fandom.
Because that is specifically what /fic is for, right? Like, oh no, I have to fuck the bad out.
Oh my god.
I'm pretty sure I've actually read variations of that for most of the fanfic, for most of the fandoms.
Same. I'm sure somewhere out there already is fan fiction for Wynonna with Doc having the bad out of her for this last week's episode.
Probably. Oh my god. Oh, we have so much to talk about for that show.
I know. Oh my god. We'll get there. Anything else for Killjoys?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
I'm so glad the team is back together because they really do need a brain.
Yes, I'm so glad. And did Johnny bring Ollie with him?
I wish.
Because she was all like, I have your back, and then we don't see her again at the end of the episode.
Yeah, I don't know.
And did our team just grow by like 4 more people? So we've got the science nerds, and then if he brought Clara Ollie, I don't know. Claire Ollie. Claire Ollie, there we go.
That I want them to keep their strays. They're building an army, right? So we have to have more characters.
Seriously, we do. We need all these fun, interesting little stray characters running around.
Every show needs to keep their strays, and this one especially.
So you're doing good, Syfy.
And by this one,
keep the strays.
By this one especially, I mean all the shows I watch ever because I want them all to keep their strays. I should have a poster that says "Keep Your Strays" that I just put up while we're filming.
Yes, that would be awesome.
On to Dark Matter?
Yeah, let's go ahead and move on to Dark Matter, which was this week. Because we finally found out who came back through the rip in time and space with them.
And it was them!
Yeah, it was reverse them.
The reveal that was the bad them was one of the best things the show has ever done.
I agree, because I was like, oh my god, what are they doing at the beginning? Because they're like, oh yeah, we're here to help you. And then they killed everybody.
And then they like literally killed everybody. And I was just like, oh, it's the bad ones.
I was like, oh! It was the ones from the other. And 4 still feels like he's off in his own story because like he's like, I'm not giving up on them, and it's like, what are you even talking about anymore?
Right? Like, just put him back on the thing.
Right?
Maybe Masaki will knock him in the head and it'll bring 4 back and he'll go back to the crew.
We can only hope.
Deku wants him to be better. 4 was way better than Rio.
Yeah, Rio is just, I don't know, he feels like he's just floating off into the background, and they're like, oh, we should have Rio do something. Here, have a 2-second scene of screaming about something.
Pacing around, holding onto his sword in his office. Can they not afford to give him a spaceship?
Obviously not. Well, he's got to spend all his money building that laboratory in the black hole.
Or something.
Or something, yeah.
But, like, he's so off on his own story.
Uh-huh. Sorry.
It makes me sad.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I loved 4. 4 was one of my favorite characters the first 2 seasons, and now he's just like...
Now he's just like a blustering jerk.
Yeah.
There's
Redeeming
not much
qualities.
depth left. 4 was... He didn't talk much, but he was funny, and he was honorable.
And
he
he
was interesting.
He was one of 5 space parents.
Was.
Yeah. Dark Matter isn't about a bunch of criminals going around saving the galaxy. It's about 5 and her space parents.
It's totally about 5 and her 17 space parents.
Yep.
Although if one more person calls her a little girl when she's like damn near 17 by now.
Yeah, and she kicked more ass this week than any of them really did.
She always does.
Right? She's like, I'm not a background character this week. I'm gonna kick ass. Look, I took out Boone and Portia, technically.
That was so great though. Like,
I know.
I love when the reverse of them got onto the ship, I was like, Android should know. She can hear their heartbeats and small things.
Yeah, she
and I'm pretty sure that she let herself get shot so that 5 could capture them is how I read it.
Yeah, that's how I read it too. It was like she knew something was up. They all knew something was up, obviously.
Yeah. What about
and then the android
being tied up in his underwear?
Yeah. I will admit that made me happy. But no, the double android scene at the end. Are you being deceptive? No.
Are you being deceptive? No. So they were both just like, humans are stupid. Let's just solve this.
Right?
It was so good.
It was. The whole episode was really good, and I'm kind of hoping that Portia and Boone show up again. It's so nice to have villains who are like look just like each other. They're like identical twins of each other, but they're not all going by the same name. So it's like I don't have to go Evil 3 and Evil 2. I can just go Portia and Boone and 3 and 2. And it's so easy. Because I love it. It makes me happy.
Different people. Like even our universe, Portia and Boone, are different people, even though they're the same body. But these people are different bodies and very different people.
Yes, exactly.
Wexler. That actor, I freaking love him.
Yeah.
He like shows up on a couple of my shows, and he's always like some that I just adore.
Yeah.
He's so much fun. I wanted them to keep him. Like, why trade him back? He didn't really want to be with them after they pointed out that he was abandoned.
Right? But they're like, yeah, we don't trust you. You tried to kill me once already.
I did kill you once.
Hey, there's an ice cream truck.
Since he's undead, maybe he'll come back and he'll join the new crew.
I know, because what's their faces left at the end of this episode?
I know. We were just talking about how we already liked them better and knew more about them.
They're gone. Oh, hopefully only temporarily, so they can go and deal with the 6th issue next week. Or on Friday night, whatever. That's like 2 days away.
And then they'll be like, you know how we left? Yeah, that was a bad idea. Can you come pick us up again?
Right? Yes, exactly.
And I switch because it's always like people coming and going. This whole thing has been going for not very long. Didn't they say it was like 6 months or something?
Just like over 6 months.
Yeah, so like less than a year, and they've had 3 separate crew turnovers, basically.
Basically, because let's see, we lost one, and then we got Devin and
Nyx.
They're gone by the end of season 2. We started season 3. We lost 6 and 4, and got the 2 new characters.
Laura.
Yeah,
but then lost them again.
We may
Only
not
a few episodes in.
completely lost them. They could come back.
True, they're not dead.
Yeah.
They better not die off screen.
Right? That would be so angry making.
And
but
5 kissed his cheek.
I know 5 liked him.
And he was sort of like confused but also kind of sweet on her.
He obviously likes 5 too, because he's like, you could totally come with us.
I don't think he's that much older than her either. Like,
no, I don't think so either.
I'm thinking he's basically a jumped up intern, so like 20.
Yeah, and she's what, 17 at the most?
Yeah, something like that.
Jesus, it's fucking hot in here. Sorry, it's like it's because the sun's setting right over here, and it's like oven temperatures in my room now.
Ew.
Yeah, and we can't turn the AC down for like another 30 minutes.
The sun went down and it's finally cooling off in here.
Yeah, it'll start cooling off in here at about 8 o'clock. So another 30 minutes.
Charming. It'll start cooling off right when you're allowed to turn the AC down.
Right, but I'm still going to turn the AC down because the upstairs stays warm longer than the rest of the house.
Yeah, because of heat rising and all that. And as we learned up here in our beautiful loft.
Right, and if Lydia doesn't care, I may actually go downstairs and just watch my movie because it's too freaking hot to watch it up here.
Maybe she'll watch with you.
She won't. It's not her. She's going to be in bed by the time I'm done with the show. Do you care if I watch TV down here for an hour or two till it cools off upstairs?
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah, so this was a fun episode.
It really was,
I think this whole,
because, you know, the actresses who play Boone, Anthony Lemke, and the actress who plays Portia, close enough, right? They got to be more than one character. They got to have fun and be like these evil, horrible people, and then at the same time, they got to be their usual selves, which was just like awesome, and I loved it.
I know. I am like super in love with all my actors playing multiple versions of the same characters right now.
Same here.
So in love with it, and it seems to be like the actors and the writers are too, because it's starting to show up on more and more shows, which means it must be fun to actually do too.
Yeah, same.
So it's super exciting, and you know, anytime I can have more Android, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Oh, that part when they said that they were leaving, like, you can't leave. You don't need to leave. 3, make them stay.
I know. She's like, no, you are family. You are babies. You are not going anywhere. Because seriously, like, Android is like literally the den mother. The Android is literally like the den mother of the group, of the Raza. She's like, I take care of everybody.
Somebody has to. They don't do a very good job of taking care of themselves.
They really don't, because when they go off by themselves, they get shot at and almost die, almost arrested.
Or activated.
Right?
What happened to 6?
Yeah.
And Portia went to the bad guy that triggered whatever training 6 had.
Yeah.
With him.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting nonetheless.
It's gonna be
and then it looks like everybody in the group that 6 was trying to help protect has died now.
Right? Like, did they just kill the whole colony? and just
right?
left their bodies out there, like that one part in Serenity.
Right? Literally, that was like a repeat of Serenity here, Syfy. Are we going to have a weak-ass episode?
Are they going to take their ship and tie the dead bodies to the hole? That would be so much meaner on this show than it would be on that show because they're much worse people.
They are. What else? I swear, I think like Five's gonna end up like giving up on getting attached to people because they keep coming and going without like really even any care for her feelings.
Nobody ever cares for her feelings. And like very early on in the first season, one of the few people who did care about her was already dead before she even found out he was there.
Right.
So rude.
What else?
This was a pretty together episode. There wasn't a whole there wasn't a whole lot to talk about it, but it was so fun.
It was. I do love episodes where like actors play two of themselves, and it's so much fun. Like there's the episode of Buffy where there's two Xanders.
Yeah,
and they brought his twin brother in to play the other him. That was always fun.
That was so great. That makes it totally in camera practical. You don't have to have doubles or anything. That was great.
Right.
I remember finding out about that when I was watching the show live, and it was just like, oh my god!
Oh, that makes so much sense, right?
They did the same trick in Terminator because Linda Hamilton has a twin. Yeah.
There's been other instances where they've done that. I just like can't think of any of them off the top of my head. Besides Nicholas Brendon and his brother, and then.
But like now,
Linda Hamilton.
I'm totally giving all the credit to Orphan Black, but
I know.
Nowadays, the split screen in Twins and the overlaying with the doubles and everything is so good. Like, it doesn't even look like the same person. Like, it's the same person playing both parts. Even on goofy things like Liv and Maddie on Disney Channel, it's gotten really good.
It has. It's so fun.
So good.
Yes. Let's see. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Now we can get to the big reveal.
Oh my god. So we left off with Wynonna last week with her taking the possession from Waverly. So now she is called Wynonna. I think that was called what it was. Wynonna. And we just opened the episode with witnesses. You will not tell me any difference. That was witnesses.
Oh my goodness, that whole episode was so fun.
It really was. Like you could totally tell that the actress who plays Wynonna she got to play this week. And you could tell she was having fun.
So fun.
And the scene in the coffee shop. This was actually, I caught this while I was watching it. She's putting the hot sauce and the syrup on the pancake. And Doc is just sitting across from me.
Just eating them whole, like not even cutting them or anything.
You could just totally tell Doc was trying not to bust up laughing. You could just see it in his face. He's just like...
I love that scene. It just looks so like...
Yes.
And strange. Like she was grinning as she was threatening people.
Right? It was like basically like I have this feeling that the director just went, we're gonna put a plate of pancakes in front of you. Do whatever you want.
Just sell it.
That's how that scene felt to me. Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, she was being all flirty, and Doc was liking it, but at the same time, it was totally giving her away.
Like, that's not how Wynonna acts. And I'm so proud of Doc for catching on that quickly that was not Wynonna.
Yes.
I was so proud of him because sometimes he's very oblivious to things around him.
Which really, by this point, this far into the story, they should all be paying attention to everything all the time.
So, yeah, exactly. And
but he was just so cute through the whole thing, though. Like,
he really was.
An extra adorable episode for Doc.
It really was, and I'm so proud of him for catching on that it was not Wynonna. And then super proud of Waverly for being like, she knew how to get the demon out of Wynonna without having to hurt Wynonna.
Yeah.
More than she already was. And then we lost somebody this week.
But it was Lucado.
Yeah. We're not really that sad about it, but Lucado's head just went.
Yeah, like, I was not expecting that.
And she literally, even though she hated dolls, she had the Wear the Well to tell him, don't let it touch you, right before her head exploded.
Right? Well, like,
you gotta give her that.
The last episode-ish before her head exploded, she was breaking down a little bit. Like,
yeah,
she was not happy with it, but she was dealing with the fact that her team was all that she had because home office wasn't listening to her. And then Jeremy said that home office isn't even there anymore. Like, they don't even know where Black Badge is anymore.
Oh my god, home office has disappeared completely off the face of the planet.
So, like, they've basically been disavowed.
I literally had like this moment of terror though when they saved Wynonna and Waverly. Everything was okay with them. And they were like, well, there's one more thing we have to take care of. And then they cut to Jeremy and I'm like, oh god, he's possessed now. I was like, right when my brain went immediately, I'm like, oh shit. I was like, oh, don't take Jeremy from me.
He's so fresh and young and new and has such a crush on Doc.
I know, he totally has a crush on Doc.
And also, if he's not even secret about it. But
no.
like, if there's no home office to go back to anymore, they need a scientist, and he's the only one they've got, even though he's like 14 and was nobody.
His mother and dolls helped him with it. We better get more information out of that. And I loved it. I loved Detective Hawks protecting her Waverly, even though it was the Gooberly, not actually Waverly. But I loved it. Yes. But I also absolutely positively loved that she knew it wasn't Waverly. She didn't know right away, but she caught on as well.
Yes, she didn't have to be convinced. She figured it out.
Right. And I loved that. I'm like, I am so tired of that dumb character cliche that seems to pop up every now and again. And it's like, can we just have a bunch of really smart characters? And everybody in this show is so smart.
I know. And like, who first pointed out that there was something wrong with Waverly. So it would have been even more dumb if she hadn't caught on.
Yeah.
But she did.
And it made me so happy. I'm like, thank you, show, for catching, writing such smart female characters. That's what makes me so happy about the show. There's such smart female characters. And then you have your background supporting male characters who are also smart.
Yeah, like, everybody is smart. Even when they're stupid, they're kind of smart.
SMART.
It's so much fun. It's like they're intentionally taking the cliches. Like, this is technically fluffy, supernatural, nothing show.
Yeah.
Taking the cliches of that sort of a genre and flipping them so that
And they're just like,
Good.
oh, this is stupid sci-fi. Well, guess what? We're going to have smart characters.
Yeah.
Super smart characters.
And it's gonna be goofy sometimes, and creepy sometimes, and lots of times gross, but also smart.
I was over the weekend. I went and saw Spider-Man: Homecoming with Barbara and another one of our friends, and I asked him. I said, have you watched Wynonna Earp yet?" And he's like, "No. What's that about?" And I was like, "I basically in a nutshell, it's Buffy."
It's so fun, but it's like Buffy, but if Buffy had run off the rails before she got her powers.
Right, exactly. Like more so
if it started 10 years later.
Right? And it's so fun, and it's just like, you just hang on and hope for the best every week. And then
Yes.
I have to call it out though. I literally had a little fangirly squee moment when the head of the witness people was totally Brendan Fear.
Yeah.
I'm like, you just show up everywhere, dude.
He's another one of those people that just shows up everywhere. We'll add him to the list of people who show up everywhere to put into one show.
He is also a Nikita alumni.
He is.
He was in 2 episodes of Nikita, and Michael killed him.
Of course.
Spoiler.
But that's like a fun new development here, because they're like an actual part of the town that has an actual job, but then they're also the secret society, which really should be their allies, but they don't trust them because they have no discipline, because they're just
doing whatever.
Street people. like random people off the street on Team Wynonna.
Right? Like, we like this
literally
guy. Come on, you drink the tea.
Literally 130-something-year-old dude from the bottom of a well is one of the members of this team.
Well, he is Doc Holliday, so there's that.
True, but he used to be Doc Holliday. He's now 130-something man from the bottom of a well.
Right? And then we have the biggest announcement of this entire show, because usually they hold this card till much, much later in the series, and we actually have Wynonna's actress to thank for this amazing little development, because it is a legit pregnancy.
Yeah, I googled that earlier before we started filming. She's like 5 months pregnant when they started making this season.
Yeah, and she's like, she said in an interview, I read about it, because after I saw the spoiler last Friday, I was mad at first, but then I was like, this is a happy spoiler, because this is going to be so much fun to explore with this character.
Yeah, that's what all the articles that I just read said. Like they're going to make it as real and as uncomfortable as possible, because she's actually pregnant, and Wynonna is such a disaster that it's going to be hilarious.
It's going to be like Wynonna without alcohol. This is going to get bad for a while. And then...
Right. And she apparently kept doing her own stunts, even though she gave birth 10 days after they wrapped.
Yeah. She literally said in one interview, she goes, "Yeah, I came to the director and I told her, I said, I'm going to be like 6 months pregnant when we start filming, and I am literally going to give birth like minutes after we finish recording."
Yeah, that was their timeline.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my god.
But I'm
like super excited about this.
Yeah, the article that I read said that everybody involved was super excited about doing a pregnant superhero, because she's still the only one who can do this, and the fact that she's growing another human can't really stop her from fighting demons.
The next heir.
Right, literally the next heir.
Who may be a mix of Doc Holliday and the Earp bloodline.
Which should be interesting.
Because it's literally logically the only person who could be the father.
Be a normal baby, then yes, it's got to be Doc's.
Yeah.
They were teasing that it might not be a normal baby.
Well, the way they put it, with the way Waverly said it to her at the end of the episode, is that the goo told her that she was too crowded because there was too many people in there.
Yeah.
That could have just meant because there's the baby. It could be just because of the baby.
There's but like there's also that possible angel dude wandering around.
Yeah.
It might be the Antichrist.
I just really, really hope they don't go the stupid Jasmine route.
I really hope they don't go for
deal with another
magical
storyline like that.
God. Actually, what I hope is that they think it's magical baby God, and it winds up being a totally ordinary baby that just happens to be her and Doc's. That's what I hope.
Yeah, that's what I want. I just want a normal baby, which would work with this show because this show always throws out the unexpected, which is what I really love about it so far.
It would be so funny though if they spend the whole time like thinking it's something mystical and it's actually just that she forgot her birth control because she's a disaster.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm hoping for.
But then also, like, imagine next season where she's got like this kid on her hip and she's shooting villains.
And that's what I want to know. Are we going to get the baby born by the end of this season, or are we going to have to wait till next season?
Probably, I would say probably next season because she didn't have her baby till after they were done filming.
Yeah.
Labor as the cliffhanger, though.
That would be a good way to do it. But I love it. Is like we've got 2 sci-fi shows that have awesome babies.
It will be cool. Sci-fi
it will
babies.
be, and I'm excited about that. Super excited about that.
Plus, like, how great would it be to have an actual totally ordinary baby growing up in the middle of this whirlwind of demon hunting?
Right? It'll be so much fun because, like I said when we started discussing it, usually shows hold off till much later seasons to give our lead a child.
Yeah.
Because even
and they usually do that because it's like a less. But like doing it that way it's also comes across as like a last ditch to keep things interesting, and then the baby is usually off screen.
Yeah. Because like,
but I feel like this one they would keep the baby.
To touch back on Angel, Connor came along storyline wise. They had him as a tiny little baby, then they sent him off to this other realm where he magically aged 16 years in just a few months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't even let me get me started on the whole Connor shit. I'm so disappointed. I love the actor, Vincent Kartheiser, and I love the concept of Connor, but I fucking hated his storyline. I cannot fucking watch that season of Angel for nothing.
Like that season is when I stopped watching regularly, like at all. Like I never got back to watching it every week after that. But like the way he was born was so feelsy, and then they just went. It was
like Darla gave up her life for him to survive, and then they bring in this Hulk guy, like, oh, you guys killed my family, so I'm gonna take your son from you and go off into this hell dimension and raise your son for 16 years to fucking hate you. And I'm like, so fucking cliche, Joss. Seriously.
And that thing also, like, everybody was in a hell dimension in that show. Was there not any other dimension that was not hell?
Right? What about the fucking dimension that was all shrimp?
How many versions of hell are there? Because people were just falling into hell dimensions in that show.
Right? And then we get Connor back, and he falls in love with Cordelia, and the entire reason the whole Jasmine storyline fucking happened is because the actress got pregnant.
Yeah, see, that's evidence of how not to handle an actress being pregnant. Like, they worked it into the story, which is some points, but then everything got stupid.
Seriously, it's like, I know that Joss goes on and on that he blames the WB, because that's what it was back then, for the show getting canceled because they were pushing for an early renewal. But I don't think that's what it was. Because honestly, if you try to sit through the last 2 seasons of that show, which I can't do, I can't do it.
Things just
I want to rewrite those 2 seasons.
Do it. Make it epic.
I know, because this
they just like went off the rails. They went off the rails.
They went too far. And it's like the whole premises of Connor before he comes back from the Hell Dimension. I would leave him being taken to the Hell Dimension and raised in the Hell Dimension. I'd leave that. Because, yeah, okay, fine. That's a good way to age up your character. Fine, I'll leave it. But I would have had him come back through and take off and not have Angel know it was his son, and him running around Los Angeles for like an entire season being this thing called the Destroyer. Nobody knowing that this is Angel's missing child.
Right, like, because how would you even have guessed that? How would he even have guessed it? It was like 6 months or whatever.
Right, and I was like, it would have been so much more fun, but no, we're going to do him falling in love with the one who used to change his diapers.
The one who was sort of in love with his father.
Right? God.
So weird.
I don't know what happened, Joss, but I'm just not a fan really anymore.
But like the last 2 seasons, isn't that also when he was making Firefly and then Dollhouse? Like he wasn't there all the time.
Yeah.
See what happens to his shows when he's not there all the time? But like in this show, in Wynonna, I feel like aging up the baby is not something they would do, because it would be much more fun to have these characters
trying to take care of a baby. Like you just see Wynonna trying to fight demons who are attacking the homestead, and she's got her baby in one arm and Peacemaker in the other. That's what I want to see.
And like some shit goes down, but the baby is sleeping, so somebody has to stay home and babysit. And then they fight over who it is.
And then they have this huge fight scene, and the baby's sleeping, and everyone, even the demons, are trying to be quiet during the fight scene. And then, like, one of the demons breaks something, and the baby wakes up and starts screaming, and Wynonna's like, okay, now you're dead.
Right? But, like, think about it. With all the demon fighting and the going out in the field and everybody being needed, the people who wouldn't be in the field would be, like, Jeremy and whatever her name is, the drug cooker. So this baby's gonna be babysat by a weird scientist and a drug dealer.
I know.
It's gonna be so great.
I really hope that that's the route they go. I really hope we stay away from the aging up of the child to make it convenient.
Yeah,
and
like,
stuff like that.
You would expect in this sort of a story for it to be a magical baby, but that is done so often that I really just want it to be completely ordinary. Like, not even fake out beyond them
and then, like,
something.
A lot of people say, oh, it's not possible to have babies grow up normally in TV. I'm sorry, The Walking Dead's been doing it for 7 years.
With like 14 different babies. Because that show moves so damn slowly.
Babies. It is 14 different fucking babies, but yeah. Because, like, amusingly enough, like, the baby in the first season in the prison, the little tiny ass kicker baby, that's the little tiny girl in Stranger Things, the little blonde pigtail girl.
Really?
Yeah.
The sister.
Yeah, the tiny little sister.
She's old enough to have her own lines now.
Yeah.
Speaking of, that show is coming back, and I'm so excited.
I know, October, and I'm like, oh my god, don't come back while I'm in Chicago, because I'm gonna be so bummed to miss it.
It's Netflix, though. You might miss the premiere day, but you're not gonna miss the series. But those kids are getting tall. Like, they're gonna have to age up a couple of more years for a third season.
Yeah, because what did we do? Like 2 or 3 years between the seasons?
I think it's only like 1 year for them.
Oh, okay, 1 year. Well, they probably will do a big age up after this season if we get another season after this. But Netflix always is seasons.
Netflix has been disappointing me lately, and I hope that they don't disappoint me on this one.
Oh, what did I start watching on Netflix the other day? Oh, I started watching Frontier with Jason Momoa and Landon Liberon. And I'm like in love. Oh my god, I'm in love.
I want to watch that show, but I haven't watched it yet. But like,
be prepared to watch it in a dimly lit room because there are a lot of really dark settings, light-wise, going on. If there's too much light coming from in front of the screen,
rude.
It drives me nuts because, like yesterday, I put a blanket up over our back door just so the room would be dimmer, so I could see something.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, their shows are always good, but then they just went and canceled a bunch of them for like no decent reason that I could tell.
Yeah, because they canceled Sense8. I did see that.
They canceled Sense8 and they canceled the Get Down, which I think the Get Down was partly because it cost so damn much. It was like crazy expensive every episode.
Okay.
They could have reworked that probably instead of canceling one of the more diverse shows on their channel.
Yeah. And then like I was like, I hope Frontier gets another season, and I went and looked, and I'm like, Netflix doesn't even own the rights to that. Yes, Netflix is airing it as one of its original television shows, but it actually belongs to the Discovery Channel.
Yeah, they do that quite a lot. Like Anne with an E is actually a Canadian production that already aired in Canada. Up to Netflix if it gets renewed.
Yeah, it's like it's totally up to Netflix if that isn't up to Netflix if that gets renewed. That's up to what's it called? And they left it with such a dark little hanger, and it's like I need more.
Cliffhangers are the worst. It's like reading a book and then you get to the end and there's no last chapter.
Yeah.
Much. I love a show that closes out the season properly, just so if it doesn't get renewed, it's not like a hangnail in my soul for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
My nose is all stopped up. Hey, we have 2 viewers.
Ooh. Hey, is this the same asshole that showed up last week? Because if it is, I want you to know, I know the fucking dispatchers for Swift Trucking, so fucking get lost. And I'm reporting your comments right now. Bye-bye. Why do I have no sound all of a sudden? Here, I'm by myself. Okay. But yeah, so Triple S Trucking, Billy Payne, whatever your name is. Yes, Billy Payne. Dispatcher for a trucking company of my own. And if you continue to harass us every week, I will report you to the dispatchers at Swift Trucking because guess what? I know all of them. Would appreciate to know that you're driving while recording videos. You know, driving your 18-wheeler big rig truck down the highway with other vehicles while recording videos.
Not safe.
Yeah, not safe at all. So go ahead and keep tormenting us. This is your final and last warning. And if you come back again next week or on Sunday night, you will be reported to the dispatchers at Swift Trucking. I have your truck number. I have your information. Thank you to your own YouTube page. So have a nice evening and get lost.
Did you see me drop out for a second there? I don't know what just happened to my. It just like totally shut down.
I was like, why do I have no sound? And I'm like, and then I realized you were gone. So I just like, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna tell this guy off. I reported the comments he made, so.
Yeah, I don't even know what happened. It just like I saw you froze, and then the whole thing crashed and rebooted.
Yeah.
Like the whole window. Like your anger at this dude's impertinence just shut down like my window.
I was like, nope, I'm done. Bye.
But yeah, so Wynonna's getting good.
I know. I was having a lot of fun with that.
The article that I was just reading, they said that they hadn't written most of the season yet when she told them she was pregnant. So to actually write it knowing that instead of having to cram it into what they already had written after the fact.
Yeah.
And they decided to run with it.
Interesting.
And they decided to run with it. Like normally when someone is mysteriously pregnant, I'm just like, ugh, that story.
Right? But this one is like actually fun, so.
And I hope that they live up to their excitement. Because like it's gonna be sad and disappointing that it turns out the same as we thought it would.
Right? It will be very interesting to say the least. But I just hope that they give us a good story with this, and you know, it's entertaining to see nonetheless.
I think it will be though. Like this show is always entertaining, even when they're being questionable, even when they're being weird, even when they're being gross. Apparently, that slime that they use for everything, the demon slime, is made out of sugar and astroglide or something.
Interesting.
It's like lube and sugar, and that's what all the slime is made out of that they get hit with every time they blow something up.
Very interesting.
I'm actually wondering, like, whenever Supernatural is on, Astroglide actually live tweets the show. So that's how they make slime for all these shows.
Well, we know blood is made from corn syrup and red food dye, so.
Oh my god, that must be so disgusting.
So sticky.
I cannot handle being sticky. Like, I would just be dying if I was in, say, Walking Dead or something where it's always full of blood.
Oh my god, right? That would be horrible.
I would just be crying all the time. I'm so sticky.
Right? Like, no.
Just like all the time. But oh my god, can you imagine Doc trying to be a dad?
Oh god, that's gonna be hilarious.
You know that like Dolls is responsible enough to probably make a good dad. But Doc though.
No, Doc won't.
He's gonna try and he's gonna be super cute, but he's not much better than Wynonna disaster level wise. It's gonna be so fun. And then whatever their overarching story is with this demon problem. And we still don't know what those sisters are up to.
No, we'll probably see them again. Well, we'll obviously see them again this week, so.
Yeah. But like, what is their plan? That's what I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Do they even have a plan, or are they just out to kick out some shit? I think gushing is about all that I had to say about this episode, though. Do you have anything else to say?
No, I think we've covered everything.
Because your feed's getting kind of choppy, so.
Yep, it's probably gonna freeze soon. Or I just have too many windows open.
We've got we just did an hour, a little bit more than an hour, so I think we did a pretty good job.
Yeah, it seems like we have. So I think that's good for this.
I wonder if any of the other sci-fi shows are going to come back. I was thinking about that earlier. Like we watched, like Aftermath is probably not going to come back, and Hunters got canceled.
Yeah. Just ignore me over here. I'm taking care of our little problem.
Our little problem.
Yeah, our little problem child. Let's see. Yep.
Like what were we? There was a bunch of new sci-fi shows, wasn't there? There was other ones.
Nothing I watched.
There was.
I dealt with.
I feel like there was something else that I'm missing that I was wondering if it was gonna come back, but whatever. They like move around their shows all the time. 12 Monkeys has been drifting. It's more than a year between airings.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, we got one more season of 12 Monkeys, and hey, the actual mention of the title of the show this time.
Woo!
Yeah. To block our problem child. Let me make sure, because I don't know if I blocked him as me or I will block him as us. There we go. Block user. Submit. Sorry, dude. You do not get to comment like that on my videos.
Nope.
Nope. Sorry.
Go harass someone who's not in your industry.
Yep. Block user. Submit. There you go. That person will no longer be able to comment on our videos. So.
It's just pathetic, though.
I know, like, what joy do you get out of making comments on our videos? Let's see, we're apparently fucking elephants and giant turds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Says the dude who has nothing better to do.
Right? Like, seriously, dude? You're lost. Lost. You've been blocked.
Whatevs. Yeah. From this day on, we shall never mention him again, so he won't even get attention.
Nope, that's the last mention of him, unless he somehow finds another way, like, oh, let me make another fucking username. Whatever. That was his final warning, so he shows up again next Sunday night when we're talking Doctor Who. Then I will be making some calls to some dispatchers I know on Monday.
Do it.
I think I actually am in the industry, but we'll see, won't we?
But yeah, I'm excited to talk about Doctor Who on Sunday.
Definitely. Oh my god. Like, if you follow me on Facebook, y'all saw my reactions, so. I was not ready. My body was not ready for that. That was painful.
So much happened. But that's for Sunday. We won't talk about that now.
Yep, that's all you get.
Are we done for today?
I think we are done for today. We made it an hour. We're actually getting really good at this. We're not running into almost 2 hours anymore.
It's true.
Yeah.
We wander around less than we used to.
Yeah, we do. So, all right, guys, we'll see you Sunday night at 7 my time. That's Pacific Standard Time. 10 Eastern Standard Time. And that's...
And appropriate times in
8
between.
Central. Yeah, all the inappropriate, and appropriate times in between. We'll see you
All the
all on Sunday.
inappropriate times in
Bye.
between. Bye-bye.